All right, let's go through 7.2, stepped out problems. First step, always get rid of subtraction. Make that negative big enough, dark enough so you can see it. Notice the distributive property, 4 times the quantity. Start your process. Move your constant. Get rid of your coefficient. Got your solution. Box it in, make it neat. Moving on to question number 3. 7 times the quantity 2p plus 3 minus 8 equals 6p plus 29. Again, dark, distribute. 7 times 2p plus 7 times 3 plus negative 8. Do your combination, 14p plus 21 plus negative 8. Look at here, do you see this? They're family, put them together. So you got 14p plus 13. Now drag everything down on the other side. I don't need to drag it down until I'm ready for it. Otherwise it gets too busy. Go ahead, start to move your variable, coefficient. Move your constant. Move your coefficient. Done. Check. Moving on to 5. 3 times the quantity of 4c plus 5 equals 24. Move. I always like to simplify it. You don't have to put it into a decimal. Okay. Moving on to question 7. That's in the picture enough. Okay, and opposite, distribute. 3x plus negative 9 equals 5 times 1.5, 7.5 plus 5x. Okay. Start to move things. Let's go. I took a second to hesitate and look to see how I could get rid of a negative on my coefficient. I don't mind a negative with my constant. Get rid of the coefficient. Negative 8 and 2500ths equals x. Divide 2 into 16 goes 8. 2 goes into 5 twice with the remainder 1. Add a 0. 2 goes into 10. When a minus 5/10, I added the 1 in front of the a. Acknowledge your subtractions, get rid of them. Second, take notice. You need to have a common denominator because when you move your constants, you can only add with like denominators. So my least common denominator is 10. I'm going to scale this up by 2, like that. So now I'm not going to use this. I'm going to use negative 6/10. So when I make the movement, it'll be easier. First, I'm going to move my variable. Now I'm going to move my constant as a positive 6/10. And then I'm left with 1/10 because negative 5 plus 6 is 1. Okay, done. $11. I did one like this in class, so hopefully you used your notes to help you through it. Remember I told you you can't have this in the denominator, so you're going to multiply both sides by whatever's in the denominator. That will allow you to cancel this right here, but then you still have to remember to distribute that 2/10 to both of that. I guess I didn't need to write it over here. So cancel, and you're left with D is equal to 2 times 3 is 6, 1 decimal place. 2 times 21 is 42, 2 decimal place movement. There you go. Put your 1 here. Let's go ahead and move this 6/10 negative. Make 0 here. Think of this as $1 minus 60 cents. That's not 6 cents, that's 60 cents. Makes 40 cents, so 4/10. Get rid of the decimal. I'm sorry, get rid of the coefficient first. Now get rid of the decimal by multiplying top and bottom by 10. Will allow you to get it out of the divisor. It's okay if there's a decimal in the dividend, so it's going to become 4 2/10 divided by 4. D cancels, equals 1 5/100. If you don't know, over there and divide. Goes into 4 twice, goes into 2 0, but it goes into 20 5 times. 1. Okay, 13 I did in class as well. I did a demonstration. So first I need to do some distribution over here to get 4/3 A plus 1. 1/3. I forgot to distribute to that. Okay. Acknowledge the fact that your coefficients are in the common denominator, so that's good, but this is not. So I need to scale this fraction up by 3 and use 6/3, okay? Now I can move 2/3 over here, and I have 6/3 equals 2/3 A plus 1/3. Go ahead and move this there, and I'm left with 5/3 is equal to 2/3 A. Now remember, the only way to get rid of a fraction coefficient is the multiplicative inverse. So I gotta take that fraction and flip it like that, because that 2 cancels that 2 and that 3 cancels that 3. That's what we wanted. And I go over here and that 3 cancels that 3. So all I'm left with is 5/2, and that's what A equals. You can change that to a decimal, or you can leave it as a fraction. You can put it as a mixed number, or you can leave it as improper. It's entirely up to you. You want to do that problem right there, or what you want your solution to be. All right, we're almost there. 4 more. 15. 5 times quantity F plus 2 equals 9 plus 5F. Distribute. You can do the lines, but just don't forget to distribute. You should automatically see right here that my variable coefficient are going to cancel out. 5 plus -5, 0. 5 plus -5, 0. I'm left with my constants, which don't equal each other. So we say this, or we can say it's null. We can say it's empty set. we can say no solution. Whichever one works for you. But they all mean the same thing, okay? So no solution, empty set, null. All right, 17, let's get to those rectangles. It's an interesting thing that some of you don't know what that the rules of a rectangle. If this side is W, then isn't this side W? Because on a rectangle, opposite sides are equal. And if this side is 3W minus 18, isn't this side 3W minus 18? Yeah, I'd say so. And then you look at this and go, wait a minute. I got 1 here, 1 here. I have a 3 here, and I have a 3 there. Those are families. They're all from the variable W family. 3, 6, 7, 8 of them. 8W plus negative 36. Where'd I get that? Here and here, my constant family. And then the whole thing is equal to 244. And then you start. Add in 36 to both sides. 8W equals 280. Go ahead and divide that away. And I'm left with W equals 35 yards. Not just 35. This is units. You need to make sure you need to make sure you put it in units, okay? So now I need to find my length. Well, this is my length. 3 times the width plus negative 18. And that equals 87 yards. And I could check it if I went back to my rectangle and I put 35 here and 87 here and 35 here and 87 on this side. I'll write it in there like that so you can see it. Remember, perimeter is adding it all up. If I added it all up, I would get 244. That works. 19, same rectangle, different measurements. I have W and I have W plus 3. If this is a W, then this is a W. Opposite sides are congruent. If this is a W plus 3, then that's W plus 3. 1, 2, 3, 4W plus 6 equals 86. Inches. The length is equal to W plus 3, 23 inches. 21, remember we did in class, consecutive numbers. You have 3 consecutive numbers in the story. The first number, remember consecutive are like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I don't know what the first number is, but I know in order to get from 10 to 11, I would need to do plus 1. In order to get from 10 to 12, I would need to do plus 2. It's in the story, it says the sum, meaning I'm going to stack my families like I do and get a sum. The story also says 5 times the sum of 3 consecutive integers is 150. So 15x plus 15 equals 150. Get rid of that constant over here. Divide by 15. 15 goes into 135 9 times. So it's 9, 10, and 11. Those are the 3 consecutive integers. Okay, so if you look at that, get a good view of that one. Hopefully this helped you through and answered some of your questions. The nice part about it is you can definitely go back and rewatch it.